Hi, today I am going to explain a war/horror movie called The Red Ghost. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie begins in December 1941 during the Nazi invasion of the Soviet Union. We see a German military truck stopping at a snowy location. The soldiers then get out of the vehicle, along with a captured Russian couple. The man has a sack on his head, and when it is removed, he is revealed to be dressed like Hitler. This offends the Nazis, but the man explains that they are just actors performing in a theater. Hearing this, the soldiers ask them to perform an act. The wife is hesitant, fearing they will be killed anyway, but the husband agrees to try. He then puts on a desperate act, pretending to be Hitler. However, the Germans are not impressed by his performance and tell him to stop. The commander then directs his men to kill the couple. At this moment, gunfire erupts out of nowhere, leaving all the German soldiers dead. Moments later, the mysterious sniper who took them down appears. It turns out he is a Nazi hunter known as the Red Ghost, who is infamous for killing thousands of German soldiers. As a result, the enemies are currently hunting him down, with a large bounty placed on his head. The Red Ghost then begins ripping off the badges of the dead soldiers. He steals some of their food and even shares it with the woman. The couple is very thankful to him and asks for his name, but he ignores them and leaves. In the following scene, we see a group of Soviet soldiers who have become separated from their unit and are trying to find their way back in heavy snow. The group includes the squad leader, Dead, and his team members, Politruc, Kostya, Moryachok, and a female nurse named Vera. There is also a wounded man named Kolya who is being carried on a stretcher. Moments later, Dead and Kostya discover a young boy who is nearly frozen to death. The boy's name is Simpleton, and he tries to explain that he is a Soviet soldier. Kostya then examines his coat and discovers no weapon or anything suspicious. At this point, we learn that Kostya has a scar on his one eye and is also mute. Although they are suspicious of Simpleton being a German spy, Dead still decides to take him along. As they continue, the journey becomes more difficult as snow begins to fall heavily. They then walk past the corpses of frozen soldiers later, and decide to spend the night in the ruins. They gather around a bonfire to warm themselves. Everyone starts chatting except Simpleton, who observes them from a distance. Kolya then begins cracking jokes to lighten everyone's mood. But moments later, he passes away due to his injuries, shocking everyone. Vera cries a lot and grieves for him, and it's clear that Kolya meant a lot to her. The following morning, several Nazis arrive at the site where the Red Ghost had killed their soldiers. As they clean up the place, they discuss how he has eliminated 61 Germans in just 2 months. Hearing this, the chief commander orders Captain Braun and his subordinate Klein to find this man as soon as possible. The Soviets, on the other hand, continue on their journey and soon arrive at a small cottage. It appears to be abandoned as a result of the German attack. Moryachok goes to check first and summons his companions after determining that it is safe. Inside, he discovers a table set with vodka and snacks. He tries to drink it, but Kostya suddenly shows up and stops him. This ensues an argument between the two as Moryachok is adamant on drinking the vodka. But the leader, Dead, reveals that it is a German trap set for partisans, with poisoned food and vodka. The rest of the group soon follows, and we see that Vera is heavily pregnant. Dead and Politruc explore the house and discover the inhabitants, who have been killed in the barn. They then cover the bodies with a blanket found nearby. In another scene, Braun's team is seen driving through the snow. Klein tells him where the Red Ghost is operating, how many people he has killed, and in which village. However, Braun interrupts by asking whether he likes saunas. Klein responds that he doesn't, but Braun implies that he is more interested in the sauna than the Red Ghost. Hearing this, Klein mentions that there is an abandoned village nearby with a great working bathhouse. That he also assures Braun that the sector is clear and there are no enemies present. Back in the house, Dead decides they must go to the nearby village for food and matches. Vera is not feeling well, so she decides to stay behind with Moryachok as her guard. However, as soon as the others depart, the Germans arrive at the same house. When Vera sees them, she quickly hides beneath a large chest. Klein shows Braun the poisoned food on the table, boasting that it is his work that has successfully killed many Russians. Meanwhile, Moriachok catches up with his friends, who have not traveled too far. He informs them that the Germans have arrived at the farm and Vera is in danger. Politruk punches him in the face and scolds him for leaving her alone. However, Moriachok claims that he went outside to urinate, saw the Germans, and fled because he could not fight them alone. The group is now forced to devise a plan to save Vera. They stand back with their rifles and keep an eye on the Germans in case they leave. Back at the house, the soldiers prepare a bathhouse for Braun. They start playing with a pig, but Braun soon appears and shoots the animal dead. He orders them not to play with their food, and be more serious. Meanwhile, Vera continues to observe them silently from her hiding position. Elsewhere, Simpleton talks with Dead and inquires what's wrong with Kostia's eye. The leader reveals that, a long time ago, Kostia stole an apple from his garden. Dead fired a shot into the sky to scare him, but he slipped and got his eye impaled by a branch. Dead admits that he still feels guilty for the incident. On the other hand, Klein warns Braun not to go to the bathhouse because the Red Ghost is nearby. This enrages the captain and he starts chastising his subordinate. Meanwhile, another soldier named Gunther hears Vera's movements under the chest. He then opens the chest and is shocked to discover her inside. That he tries to protect her and leave quietly, but Braun notices something strange and asks him what happened. In the end, Gunther is forced to admit that someone is hiding in the chest. Following this, Braun begins interrogating Vera with Gunther as the translator. The latter appears sympathetic towards her and then reassures her that they won't hurt her. Vera reveals that she is 8 months pregnant and that the house belongs to her. However, Klein notices that she is not in any of the photographs hanging in the room and suspects she's lying. Vera then changes her story, explaining that she fled from a neighboring village and sought refuge here. Unfortunately, trouble arises when Klein discovers her military uniform and ID in the corner, revealing that she is a soldier. She begins to panic and pleads with them not to kill her, but to no avail. Klein begins to brutally beat her up, causing Gunther to run outside and vomit. Sometime later, Klein throws the bloody and barefoot Vera out of the house. The Soviet soldiers who were observing the house from a distance are horrified. Dead declares that Vera cannot be saved and they must leave. However, Simpleton suddenly rushes forward and crawls to the front perimeter trench. Moriachok notices, and follows him as well. The two then easily eliminate 3 German guards in the trench. On the other hand, Klein decides to hang Vera, but one of the older soldiers objects, saying it's too harsh a punishment for a pregnant woman. Klein agrees and decides to shoot her instead. Vera then begins cursing at him and claims that God will punish him for his crimes. When Gunther translates her words, Klein hesitates to kill her. He hands the gun to Gunther, saying he has 2 minutes to execute the woman. At this moment, someone shoots the soldier in the head and kills him. It turns out the Red Ghost has arrived and he throws several grenades at the house. Vera takes this opportunity to run away through the fence. The Soviet soldiers also begin attacking the Germans, and with the help of the Red Ghost, they manage to kill the majority of the Nazis. Meanwhile, Braun, who was in the bathhouse, runs naked into the barn, seeking refuge. The Red Ghost soon arrives at the bathhouse, where Klein pours boiling water on him. Klein then tries running away but he trips and hits his forehead on a log, knocking him out. He wakes up shortly after but pretends to be dead. The Red Ghost isn't faring any better as he, too, loses consciousness due to the severe burns on his body. After eliminating everyone, the Soviet soldiers breathe a sigh of relief and bring the unconscious Red Ghost inside. They gather around the table and begin eating the food left by the Germans. They discuss what to do next when suddenly Vera starts having contractions. Fortunately, Dead has some experience in delivering babies, so he and Simpleton help her in the process. After a long struggle, she finally gives birth to a healthy boy, and everyone celebrates the moment. Elsewhere, we see Braun dressed as a woman, running out onto the road in front of a group of Germans. The group is led by the same officer, who initially tasked him with hunting the Red Ghost. He is repulsed by Braun's appearance and stares at him with a disappointed look. Shortly after, the Red Ghost awakens and begins to prepare his rifle. He doesn't say a word and simply leaves the house. The Soviets deduce from his behavior that the Germans are nearby, so they prepare for battle. Outside the house, Klein finally gets up and starts running away. In the next scene, a large number of German troops surround the house and begin their attack. They start shooting grenades that destroy half of the house. Fortunately, no Russians are killed, and they begin to counterattack as well. Vera hides behind the stove while the others shoot back from cover. Dead, in a fit of emotion, apologizes to Kostya for his eye and prepares to provide cover for him. As the Germans approach, the Red Ghost kills several of them and throws a bomb at the chief commander. Dead also eliminates many enemies before he himself is shot and killed. Politruk is severely injured during the fight and has his jaw dislocated. However, Moryachok punches his jaw back into place and gives him some vodka. After recovering a bit, Politruk grabs a machine gun and goes on a drunken rampage. He manages to kill 4 enemies before ultimately succumbing to Braun. Moments later, Moryachok is hit by a grenade and tragically loses his life. Kostya is also shot by Braun, seemingly ending his life. After killing everyone else, the Red Ghost and Braun finally come face to face. They engage in a brutal duel, first with guns, then bayonets, and then with their bare hands. In the end, the Red Ghost prevails and fatally stabs Braun with his blade. But just when the good guys seem to have prevailed, Klein appears and shoots the Red Ghost in the back, killing him. The German soldier is then taken out by a mysterious sniper from a distance. It turns out to be Vera and Simpleton, who have managed to survive with the baby. In the next scene, we see the same actor couple from the beginning of the movie. Another German group has captured the man and is beating him in front of a crowd. His wife is also there, and she watches helplessly from the sidelines. The German officer then announces that anyone who has seen the Red Ghost must come forward or the man will be killed. When no one responds, he grabs a child and threatens to shoot him. Seeing this, the actor finally speaks up. He describes how the Red Ghost rescued him and killed the Germans a few days ago. He's not scared this time and begins to openly curse the Germans. The Nazi officer is enraged upon hearing this and orders his soldiers to execute him. However, a sniper shoots the commander and several other Germans, killing them on the spot. The actor and his wife also attack a few Germans with their bare hands and kill them. In the aftermath, the sniper searches the dead Germans, removes their badges, and steals any food or weapons. The actor looks at him and realizes he is a different person, but he remains silent. As the movie ends, we learn that this man is actually Kostya, who has survived and has taken on the role of the Red Ghost.